Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. A momentous political revolution has just occurred in Britain. Ordinary people have shocked Westminster by giving Nigel Farage and Reform UK an astounding 74-seat majority in a surprising turn of events. The affluent are rushing. Labour faces a historic destruction, while the Tories are in a state of chaos. A swing is not what this is. It's a revolution. The halls of power are shaking, and the people are in charge for the first time in decades. It is impossible to overestimate the magnitude of this political earthquake. Not only has Reform UK shocked Westminster with its ascent to a 74-seat majority, it's in disarray now. Labour strongholds became turquoise overnight as the results were published. The working-class British Party is now a shell of what it used to be. Ordinary voters have made their voices unavoidable because they are tired of identity politics, decades of unfulfilled promises, and the haughtiness of the elite. This is a real-time system collapse. Once certain of its hold on important constituencies, Labour now observes its influence eroding against the tide like sand castles. Reform UK is sweeping through seats that were formerly considered untouchable, and Rishi's and the others are no better off, relegated to a minor annoyance. One party's victory is not all that we are seeing. It is the breakdown of a whole political system. Once derided, outlawed, and ridiculed by the mainstream media, Nigel Farage is now poised to become Prime Minister and completely transform the UK government. The people have taken over, and the repercussions are only starting to be realized, which has the elites in a panic. The tale of a revolt against decades of political stasis is being told by every council, constituency, and voting place, and is spreading quickly across England, Wales, and even the outskirts of Scotland. Britain's map is changing to turquoise at a rate never seen before. The socialist dominion of Labour is collapsing. Record numbers of its most devoted voters are leaving the ship. The figures are striking. The party has lost between 30 and 35% of the vote in areas that were formerly strongholds of the Labour Party. As the sole viable option, ordinary people are flocking to Reform UK in frustration with excessive council taxes, energy issues, and political elites who mock their worries. This rage is a tidal wave. It's an inexorable referendum on the status quo. As their lives continue to be squeezed, the populace has made the decision that they will no longer put up with elites dictating terms from Westminster. Furthermore, it is evident that Rishi Sunak's party is losing popularity in a manner that may take decades to reverse, despite the Conservatives' attempts to portray their declining numbers as a small setback. Reform UK has shown that once momentum is established, it not only wins but also takes control. The majority of 74 seats is only the start. However, the nature of Reform UK's new MPs is more frightening to the establishment than the numbers. These are not the typical Oxbridge grads, professional politicians, or media darlings that Westminster has long depended on. These include parents, small business owners, farmers, veterans, and builders. Those who are aware of Britain's everyday hardships because they are themselves. Ordinary folks are assuming remarkable authority in this parliament, and the thought of that reality chills Whitehall's hallways. Politicians who follow party lines and serve on committees that curry favor with the media are used to the elites. However, reformers are only unproven in the areas that the establishment cares about. They have no allegiance to officials or lobbyists. To the people who elected them, that is. Additionally, the UK's political environment is irrevocably changing as they get ready to assume office. The repercussions are not limited to Parliament. People are rejoicing like never before in cities and towns. The message is universal, from merchants in Kent to fishermen in Cornwall, from nurses in Manchester to old miners in Yorkshire. Too much time has been spent ignoring us. We have a voice now. This vote is more than simply a protest. It is a strong movement that asserts that the people of Britain, not the governing class, own the country. The media, including the BBC and political commentators, rush to comprehend the profound change. On the ground, however, the reality was evident. Millions of people were enraged and intrigued by Reform UK. Furthermore, no amount of spin or analysis could change that fact. For centuries to come, everyone will remember this political earthquake, a time when common people took back the authority that had always belonged to them. This upheaval scope is astounding. Not only is Westminster taken aback, it is afraid. The sheer power of Reform UK's growth has caught the political elite off guard, since they have become used to smooth and predictable elections. Previously unassailable labor strongholds are suddenly in disarray. Ordinary voters who have grown weary of being ignored are humiliating their MPs. The traditional parties are losing elections in places like Plymouth, Newcastle, Cardiff, and Liverpool that experts claimed were inconceivable. A reality that they are unable to deny is confronting the labor elites, who are securely nestled in their high-rise offices and university-funded think tanks. They have been rejected by the people, and the Conservatives are no safer. The once powerful party of Rishi Sunak, which was founded on decades of backing from the establishment, has been reduced to a group that is barely surviving. Their leaders are now confronted with an existential dilemma. When the electorate has determined that you are no longer important, how can you survive? The writing on the wall is apparent, but the solution is not. Reform UK is here to stay and is changing British politics at a rate never seen before. The consequences go beyond just the statistics. Now empowered regular people who have long felt powerless are calling for change both in town halls and on the streets. Formerly silent communities that suffered from governmental neglect and bureaucracy are now rejoicing in their newfound authority. Parents, builders, farmers, and shopkeepers who feel forgotten by decades of broken promises are flocking to the streets to express their concerns and wave flags. This demonstration is not short-lived. This movement has developed into a powerful force that may change the political landscape and hold a government responsible. Safe seats as a concept have been ruined. A grassroots movement that cannot be bought off, bullied, or silenced has caused the Labour and Tory parties' once unshakable hold on traditional seats to shatter. Often seen as a political outsider, Nigel Farage today embodies a vision of governance that connects with the public in a manner that no professional politician has done in decades. The ramifications are obvious. Westminster is not the power center it once thought it would be. Those who have shown their willingness to battle for power now hold it. The triumphs of Reform UK are as noteworthy for their character. These politicians have not been deliberately cultivated by the media. These are just regular people taking on great responsibilities. They come from a variety of backgrounds. Farmers who are aware of the hardships of rural living. Builders who understand the need of diligence. Those who have served in the military. Parents who struggle on a daily basis to support their family. Every triumph signifies a rejection of the status quo, an acceptance of leaders who have a close relationship with the lives of common Britons. The establishment is most frightened by this. The potential for government to be governed by individuals who value action over speech, citizens over lobbyists, and pragmatism over dogma. The issue hangs over Reform UK as it gets ready to assume its seats in Parliament. Given this degree of sincerity, fervor, and responsibility, how will the current system hold up? The elites are now feeling the effects of their conceit after being shielded for a long time from the worries of actual people. Westminster's walls, which were constructed to keep the people and the powerful apart, are starting to crumble, and the earthquake isn't abating. The pace at which this transition has taken place is even more remarkable. Although polls had shown discontent, no study had anticipated the magnitude of Reform UK's victory. With just 30.4% of the national vote, the party was able to secure a 74-seat majority. A clear warning that established parties may be crushed far more forcefully than any analyst could have predicted when momentum develops in a first-past-the-post system. With the Conservatives behind at 17.9% and Labour stuck at 22.6%, they are now facing an existential dilemma. In the face of a movement that has won over the hearts and minds of regular citizens, their plans, methods, and promises are meaningless. Cities and towns are humming with debate and conversation. People are inspired by the knowledge that their decisions count, that their rage has influence, and that change is not only conceivable, it's already started. A few elite voices have controlled the political system for decades, and as the dust settles, rumors of further turmoil are circulating across Westminster and beyond. Because a political change of this size has ramifications that extend far beyond Parliament, analysts, lobbyists, and even the monarchy are taking notice. By-elections, possible defections, and the stability of the administration itself are all issues. Knowing the mood of the country, the monarch observes in silence as the populace uses their authority in ways that the establishment cannot stop. A whole movement has grown out of what began as a single election night, one that is changing how Britain thinks about its future, its leaders, and its government. The political norms of the past are no longer relevant. After years of ease in their ivory towers, the elites are now forced to face a reality they cannot ignore. The The people have taken back control of the government, and Reform UK has given them a clear mandate to speak up. The narrative doesn't finish here. It is the start of a significant shift that will shape British politics for years to come. The repercussions of Reform UK's historic triumph are trembling the very foundations of British political institutions and extending far beyond Westminster. These days, every department, commission, and ministry must face a reality they never expected. Once safe in its strongholds, the Labour Party is now in shock at losing its most devoted constituencies. Senior officials like Rachel Reeves and Angela Rayner are being humiliated to such an extent that their workplaces are strangely quiet. As traditional strongholds fall under the weight of public dissension, the Tories are similarly taken aback by the examination of Rishi Sunak's leadership. For many years, political elites thought that by using well-designed messaging and policy smokescreens, they could control the electorate, set the agenda, and govern the narrative. Those delusions are no longer there. The 74-seat majority held by Reform UK is more than just a statistic. It is a statement that the people are tired of leaders who have long forgotten the needs of the people, meaningless promises, and never-ending red tape. People are calling for responsibility from the streets of Manchester to the Cornish countryside. Additionally, their voices are being heard in the corridors of power for the first time in a generation. The character of Reform UK's candidates is what makes this time so unique. These politicians are not seasoned professionals who have spent years figuring out Westminster's maze. They are workers who have physically constructed Britain's infrastructure, parents who have battled to support their families, small company owners who are aware of the stresses of daily living, and veterans who have served their nation. Their viewpoint, which is based on real-world experience rather than political theory, has been lacking in Parliament for many years. The establishment is frightened by this genuineness. Legislators who will question presumptions, put the interests of people first, and take bold action without worrying about media backlash are a threat to the elite used to controlling obedient lawmakers. It has an instant effect. Secret legislative agendas might soon come under more scrutiny than ever before. The established networks of influence that have long controlled British politics are in danger of disintegrating, and policy choices may be re-examined. Reform UK is more than just holding parliamentary seats. Westminster lacks a plan to react to their real-time rewriting of the norms of governing. Britain is buzzing with excitement as the new members of Parliament get ready to start office. Discussions about accountability, change, and reform are rife throughout towns and cities. Ordinary voters, who for decades felt invisible, are now empowered because they recognize that their decisions have real-world repercussions. The message is the same for farmers in Wales, teachers in Manchester, miners in Yorkshire, and small business owners in Kent. The people want a government that pays attention to what they have to say. What was previously a far-off ideal, represented by those who are aware of the lives of common people, is now a reality. This grassroots movement is here to stay. It may change the political landscape in Britain for a generation. The triumph of Reform UK is not a short-lived uprising, but rather the beginning of a movement that will have a lasting impact on government, policy, and discussions for years to come. The established parties are now under scrutiny for their haughtiness and complacency. Everyone is awake. The prior guidelines are no longer relevant, and there will be opposition to any effort to disregard this tsunami of change. Westminster's political calculus has been reversed. Once secure in their seats, Labour and Tory MPs are now at risk of suffering further defeats in future local elections and by-elections. The meaning of Reform UK's extraordinary rise is being interpreted by analysts with haste. But the reality is straightforward. Elite rule is being rejected by the populace. They are looking for leaders who will act in their best interests, who share their beliefs, and who understand what it is like to suffer. The conventional media, which has long defended the existing quo, finds it difficult to portray this revolution without taking into account how big the upheaval is. After being demonized and discredited by the media for a long time, Nigel Farage has suddenly come to represent an unstoppable movement. The political elite should take note of his accomplishment. Toss them away at your own risk. Additionally, rumors of more significant structural changes start to surface as Reform UK strengthens its position. The courts, the monarchy, and even foreign observers acknowledge the extent of this change. A government that was formerly dominated by a small number of people must now adjust to a new reality in which organized and empowered common people have taken their place at the table of power. The political climate in Britain has reached a new level. Every level of government is affected by the feeling of urgency and uncertainty brought about by the UK's rapid and extensive transformation. What began as discontent has developed into a concerted attempt by common people to express their power, a force that challenges the established elite's hegemony. It becomes evident to the country that this is more than just an electoral win. In action, it is a rethinking of democracy. For the first time in decades, the electorate's voice is influencing government instead of being filtered via layers of bureaucracy and elite influence. Policies will be questioned, priorities will change, and more. Westminster won't be the same again. The majority of 74 seats is only the start. The people are now in charge, and the true change is just beginning to take shape. Make your voice known if you're as astonished by this political earthquake as Westminster is. Support the reality they don't want you to see by like this video. Give it to everyone who should be aware of the true situation. And because this is more than just news, please share your opinions in the comment section below. There is a movement. Remember to press the notification bell and subscribe to Info Britain so that you may be the first to know when the next phase of this revolution begins. People are starting to wake up, and you must join them.